Hello and a very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Let's begin with this morning's headlines. Tragic images of the migrant crisis in Europe. A toddler believed to be a Syrian is washed ashore after being drowned, triggering global outcry to resolve the matter. Silver lining in the stalemate over OROP. There could be some agreement over contentious issue on pension revision. Manipur government assures people bills passed by the assembly don't infringe on tribal rights. Assurance after another government building was torched under curfew on Wednesday. China's display of military might marking the defeat of Japan in World War II. Vladimir Putin and UN Secretary General among chief guests at the event at Tiananmen Square. And Serena Williams and Rafael Nadal struggle in the US Open but make it through to the third round with hard-fought straight sets victories. Well, let's begin with our top focus on the bulletin this morning. The migrant crisis in Europe has been mounting. The EU countries are facing the biggest refugee crisis since World War II but are yet to find a common solution to the escalating problem. With the blame game continuing and countries refusing to take in migrants, Germany has appealed for a change of rules and a fair share of distribution of refugees. Here's a report.
It's one heartbreaking image that seems to have captured the human tragedy of the escalating migrant crisis in Europe. This little boy, thought to be a Syrian refugee, is among the 12 people who drowned off the coast of Turkey and washed ashore on a beach on Wednesday. The Turkish Coast Guard said a group of 23 migrants had set off from Turkey's Bodrum Peninsula for the Greek island of Kos in the early hours of Wednesday morning, but the two boats they were in sank shortly afterwards. The pictured boy is reported to have drowned along with his 5-year-old brother and their mother. The tragic image soon found its way on the social media, bringing massive condemnation for EU leaders who failed to reach a consensus on how to deal with the migrant situation. It sparked an international outcry over the human cost of the crisis. The tragedies being faced by migrants has deterred the others from entering Europe.
ما قدرت أطلع ما تأمن معي مصاري لآخر لحظة يعني كنت طالعة وما تأمنت المصاري لآخر لحظة كنا طالعين على أساس نطلع تركيا من تركيا على اليونان بالبحر.
Meanwhile, in Hungary, the standoff between migrants and the police continued. Hundreds of migrants protested outside a Budapest railway station after they were blocked from boarding trains bound for Germany. Clashes between migrants and police were also reported from the Greek-Macedonia border. Hundreds of migrants trapped between the border attempted to cross over but were rebuffed by the police. In the Czech Republic, the police brutality evoked memories of 70 years ago after they began forcing migrants from trains on their way to Germany and writing identification numbers on their arms in permanent ink. Amid escalating crisis and widespread condemnation, the EU countries have called for a fair distribution of refugees. Germany, which is by far the biggest recipient of migrants fleeing from war-ravaged countries, has appealed to other EU partners to do more in dealing with the crisis.
Mazedonien verweist darauf, dass Griechenland nicht genügend tut, um die Flüchtlinge, die dort ankommen, einfach nur durchreicht Richtung Mazedonien, Serbien, Mazedonien und dann in Richtung Europa. Griechenland verweist darauf, dass die Flüchtlinge ja schließlich aus der Türkei kommen und die Türkei auf einen eigenen Grenzschutz verzichtet. Ich glaube, wir kommen so nicht weiter.
In a bid to cope with the worsening migrant crisis, EU ministers will meet on the 14th of September in Brussels. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving on to some national news now, there seems to be some respite over the OROP issue. Agitating veterans and the government seem to have settled some differences or prickly issues on the scheme. Pension revision has been a contentious issue, with veterans saying it must be done annually. Earlier this week, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley had ruled out an annual revision, saying it does not happen anywhere else in the world. It now looks like the veterans may accept a revision every 2 years. Ex-servicemen have been protesting at Jantar Mantar for the last 80 days, demanding an early implementation of the scheme. Many of them have also been hospitalized after their health deteriorated. Moving on now, the Manipur government has assured people that the bills passed by the State Assembly do not infringe on the rights of tribals. This assurance came on a day when a government building was torched in Churachandpur district despite curfew. Tension continues to prevail after protesters set on fire the zonal education office under curfew that has been on for the third day. Protesters also defied a ban on assembly and gathered at sensitive points. 8 people have lost their lives in the violence in Manipur so far. The violence was triggered by the passage of 3 bills. The tribals fear that these legislations would allow outsiders to have rights over tribal land and not protect the indigenous people.
अभी बातचीत करके उनको मुख्यमंत्री ने उस दिन विधानसभा में बयान दिया, उसके बाद पत्रकारों को उन्होंने बताया ये ट्राइबल एरिया को ये एप्लीकेबल नहीं है ये बिल। मणिपुर जाके चूड़ाचांदपुर जाके खुद मैं देख रहा हूँ वहाँ क्या हुआ, क्या हो रहा है, क्या करना हमारे तरफ से।
Well, the cabinet has approved a landmark change in India's hydrocarbons exploration regime, sanctioning the auction of 69 small and marginal oil and gas fields of ONGC and Oil India Limited. It will now be given to private firms on a new revenue sharing model, offering operators full freedom to market and price their products. Here's more.
In a significant decision for the oil and gas sector, Union Cabinet has approved a paradigm shift in the revenue sharing model. 69 oil fields in which production is yet to begin will be clubbed into clusters and offered for bidding within 3 months based on the new formula.
इसकी जो फार्मूला हम लोगों ने बनाई है, मार्केट प्राइस जो भी हो, रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग और रॉयल्टी डिडक्शन ऑयल के बारे में उस समय की जो प्राइस ऑफ द डे रहेगी ऑयल की, दैट विल बी द बेंचमार्क.
The government has also approved a unified licensing regime for operators to produce hydrocarbons in auction for 69 small and marginal oil fields.
हम सिंगल लाइसेंस या यूनिफाइड लाइसेंस पॉलिसी लाया है, जिसमें कन्वेंशनल हाइड्रोकार्बन, अनकन्वेंशनल हाइड्रोकार्बन, ऑयल, गैस, शेल ऑयल, सीबीएम, कोई एक फील्ड में सारा चीज या 2, 3, 4 चीज उसमें मिलती है, सारा उत्पादक प्रोड्यूस को वो उत्पादन कर सकता है, उसको एक ही अथॉरिटी उसको मिल रही है.
The government is going for a simple revenue sharing regime by introducing a new method. Earlier, companies used to get blocks by bidding maximum work program. They used to recover their investment before sharing profits with the government. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the food regulator, FSI, is bringing in new approval procedures for food products at the end of September. The move is in line with the Supreme Court's decision to take away its product approval powers after the Maggi noodles case.
After the criticism following its recent ban on a variety of products, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India is unveiling new product approval procedures. It has issued a public notice seeking applications from lawyers and legal firms before 7th of September. This was after a Supreme Court held that the food regulator had no power to make product approvals.
They have issued an order only a few days back, the product approval is halt. But what about these products which are not standardized? Because if somebody wants to apply for license for manufacture or for marketing or for import, at present FSSAI is not clearing. I think FSSAI will come out with some decision soon so that industry does not suffer.
Under the Food Safety and Standards Act 2006, the FSSAI is a nodal agency to regulate the food processing sector, which means no person can manufacture, distribute, sell or import any novel food, genetically modified articles of food, irradiated food, organic foods, foods for special dietary uses without approval. But with 350 product approvals pending, the FSSAI is now in a limbo. The food processing industry is left in confusion.
Unless the act is amended, they cannot approve new products. But they have to come clearly with, there are several implications of this order. One implication of the order is what happens to product approvals that have already been approved. What happens to the people who have paid for the product approval? We are taking crores of rupees here, all right? What happens to that because that process has been called illegal? That is not, there is no clarity there.
The FSSAI scrapped existing approval process on 27th of August after the Supreme Court upheld the Bombay High Court, which was hearing the Maggi noodles case, decided to cancel its product approval powers. Rajkamal Rao's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, it's time now for a short break, but still to come, an unprecedented display of military might by China to mark Japan's defeat in World War II, and much more on the other side of the short break. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to The Quest.
I'm very clear what is my job. This is a hype which is created by Hollywood. To them, Oscar is something great. To me, the national awards are the most important thing to me as a filmmaker. The censorship affects good films much more than the vulgar bad films. Government also agrees that yes, he's not the best choice.
Watch The Quest with Amol Palekar, Thursday at 10 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, top ministers and BJP leaders attended the first day of the three-day RSS conclave in New Delhi on Wednesday. The RSS top brass and the government leaders brainstormed over key social and economic issues and also on issues confronting the Modi government. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also expected to attend the meeting on its last day on Friday. Besides BJP Chief Amit Shah, Union Ministers Arun Jaitley, Sushma Swaraj, Manohar Parrikar, Nitin Gadkari, Venkaiah Naidu, Anant Kumar and JP Nadda were also present at the meet. The major issues on the agenda include the census figures, OROP, the Patel agitation in Gujarat, land bill, labour reforms and the education policy. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat presided over the meeting and representatives of 15 Sangh associates, including Vishwa Hindu Parishad, Swadeshi Jagran Manch and Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangathan were present at the Baitak. RSS maintains the meet is not a review performance, nor will any decisions be made. But indications are that the RSS wants the centre to resolve the one rank, one pension issue soon and has asked the government to form a panel to look into it.
On broad national issues, there will be exchange of views, exchange of notes between among various Parivar organizations, leaders of which are present in the Baitak. It is about how we should move ahead into the future. It's not about any review of the government or any policies or programs.
Well, the Baitak, of course, is a three-day meet of the RSS and it began yesterday where we saw several senior leaders of the BJP, including ministers like JP Nadda, Venkaiah Naidu, Anant Kumar and several others attending the meet. And this meet will go on today and tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, Friday, being the last day of the Baitak. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to be a part of the meeting tomorrow and is expected to go and meet some of the senior RSS functionaries there. The chief of the event, of course, is the RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Well, joining me for a chat this morning to talk about this is Parsa Venkateshwar Rao Jr., editorial consultant of the DNA newspaper. Very good morning, Parsa, and thank you for joining me on the program. You know, the RSS has said that it is not going to be a review of what the government has done over the last 1 year or so. But do you think that's how it's going to be, or the RSS is going to want to have some answers, especially on some sticky issues?
Well, I've got a basic problem on this whole phenomenon in the sense that whatever the private understanding between RSS and the BJP, in the political arena, we are only concerned with the BJP. If the BJP Central Committee, BJP National Council discusses and decides on political issues, political agendas, reviews, gives advice, then I am okay with it. But I really don't know what is the role of RSS vis-a-vis the BJP, vis-a-vis the BJP-led NDA government. I don't see any legitimacy of the RSS in the political arena. I mean, the private arrangement between the BJP and the RSS as part of what they call the Sangh Parivar is their own issue. But as a person who would watch and who would comment on political developments in the public arena, I wouldn't concern myself with the RSS, because unless the BJP and the RSS formalize the relationship in the public arena and say the BJP and the BJP-led governments report or consult with the RSS as the communist governments consult with the central committees of their parties, then it is legitimate.
But everyone knows that that's not how it is, because the RSS does have a significant role in what happens within the BJP. So what do you expect to happen over the next 2 days? Because the Prime Minister is also going to be a part of this Baitak tomorrow. Are there going to be some subtle messages that are going to be delivered to the Prime Minister?
I think the RSS is trying to be a pressure group, an indirect and illegitimate pressure group on the BJP. And I think they will sort of sometimes dictate certain things to the BJP and the government, some of which the government will accept and some of which will not be able to comply with. So that tussle and negotiations will go on of what can be done and what cannot be done. But I'm not able to overcome this basic misgiving about, of course, it is very interesting and that the RSS has come out very openly. Muralidhar Rao is now part of the BJP, though he was part of the RSS spokesperson earlier. So Muralidhar Rao is speaking, if he spoke on behalf of the RSS about the BJP, I would not have given any credence to him. Muralidhar Rao, as a General Secretary of the BJP, speaking about what is happening in BJP, I have no problems. But what I want BJP, President Amit Shah, or any BJP functionary, or even the Prime Minister Modi to say, look, this is the relationship we have with the RSS. We consult with them and we think that we need, there is a think tank, they are our resource. I would like that to be formalized. Until it is formalized, I think we should recognition to what the RSS says or what the BJP listens. But I would listen to what the BJP says, because BJP is a registered political party. BJP fights the elections and BJP's members are have a majority in the Lok Sabha.
Do you see the BJP this time around accepting the fact that the RSS has something to do with the party?
Every time I speak to BJP leaders, they say the RSS does not interfere in the day-to-day affairs of the BJP. The RSS gives an overall moral guidance, we consult with them. And if you speak to any RSS people, what is happening in the BJP, they will say, no, we are not concerned with the BJP's affairs. BJP's affairs are BJP's affairs. We have nothing to do. So where does the RSS step in to say something about the government policy or anything? I don't think they have anything to say about the government policy, or they have any right, and they don't even pretend. Officially, if they say we want the government to do this, then I would accept.
All right. Partha, we'll have to leave to that. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning and putting things into perspective for us. Moving on now, here's a look at the developments that are expected to take place through the course of the day today in our segment, The Day Ahead. UAE's Foreign Minister Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan will meet External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj in the afternoon today. The bilateral issues such as trade, investment and cooperation in new areas including defense production and infrastructure would be discussed in the meeting. Later in the day, he will also call on the Prime Minister Meanwhile, Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan is leading an 80-member delegation on a 2-day visit to India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate an international conference on Global Hindu-Buddhist Initiative on Conflict Avoidance and Environment Consciousness in New Delhi. A number of leading political and religious figures from across Buddhist Asia are participating in the initiative. Modi will also join the delegates in Bodh Gaya, where they will travel to after the conference concludes in New Delhi. The JSW India Squash Circuit begins today in Mumbai. The circuit into its second season carries total prize money of $120,000, which is double that of last year. It features top-ranking players from India and abroad. The circuit is promoted by IV Sports and JSW Steel under the aegis of Squash Rackets Federation of India and World Squash Federation. Moving on to some international news now. China is all set for a grand showcasing of its military might. The occasion is to mark the defeat of Japan in World War II. The scale of celebrations is unprecedented, with some 12,000 troops and 200 aircrafts as well as tanks and missiles going on display at the historic Tiananmen Square in Beijing. According to the Chinese state media, more than 80% of the machinery will be shown in public for the first time. President Xi Jinping, who is the commander of the armed forces, will be center stage at the proceedings along with more than 30 foreign government officials and heads of state. Russian President Vladimir Putin, South Korea's President Park Geun-hye and UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon are the biggest names in attendance. Many major leaders, including from the US, UK, Australia and Japan, will not participate. Here's a look now at some more international news in our segment World Wrap. French judges investigating claims that the former Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat was murdered have closed the case without bringing any charges. In a statement, the prosecutor said that polonium poisoning had not been demonstrated and that the inquiry would not continue. Arafat was diagnosed with a serious blood disorder and died of a stroke in 2004. His widow has maintained that he was poisoned after a private investigation revealed high levels of the radioactive isotope in his remains. At least 28 people were killed and nearly 75 others injured in two suicide bombings targeted at a Houthi-controlled mosque in Yemen's capital Sana'a on Wednesday evening. Local affiliates of the Islamic State shortly claimed responsibility for the attack in several posts online and social media, but the claims cannot be independently verified. US Secretary of State John Kerry has said that he was looking forward to the arrival of Saudi Arabia's King Salman in Washington today. Washington and Riyadh are seeking to shore up relations as he is due to meet US President this week. The Saudi naval expansion program has been under discussion for years, but US sources say Saudi Arabia's concerns about Iran have accelerated the effort. Saudi and US officials are also finalizing details of a deal worth $1.9 billion to buy 10 MH-60R helicopters, which can be used for anti-submarine warfare and other missions. Moving on to some sports news now. Day 3 of the US Open saw some surprises as the top seeds, including defending champions Serena Williams and Rafael Nadal, were tested in the second round. Most of the seeds made it to the next round, however, with a few hiccups along the way. Here's what happened at Flushing Meadows.
In an action-packed Day 3 at the US Open, top seeds in both men's and women's category advanced to the next round with an easy win over their opponents. However, three-time defending champion and world number 1 Serena Williams, seeking her 7th US Open title overall, had to struggle hard. Serena trailed 4-0 in the opening tie-break but came back to win 7-6, 6-3 at the Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Extremely well, and Burton's played well, but not well enough. So Serena
Williams is now 5 wins from her 22nd major title and the first calendar slam in 27 years. She will next face fellow American Bethany Maddox-Sands for a place in the last 16.
Just focus, and I just thought 1 point at a time, and next thing I know was 4-all or something, and then I just kept fighting for each point, not for a lot, but just one at a time. Being down a lot, I know that I can try to make a comeback or try to make a run for it, and plus I never stop, I always keep going, give the best effort that I can.
but at a crucial time.
Earlier, defending champion Marin Cilic also powered into the third round with a routine win over Russia's Evgeny Donskoy. Cilic returned to the Arthur Ashe Stadium for the first time since winning the title last year with a 6-2, 6-3, 7-5 win over Evgeny Donskoy.
Marin Cilic.
Struggling from his past performance, 8-seeded Rafael Nadal was also tested in his match but beat Diego Sebastian Schwartzman 7-6, 6-3, 7-5 in 2 hours and 41 minutes. The Spaniard trailed 5-3 in the first set tie-break and fell a break behind in both the second and third sets, had to fight for the victory.
And Alette Court on match point.
First of all, no, I think Diego is he's a great player, good friend, so just was a tough battle. I feel lucky to be through. The set was very important. With these humid conditions, I think Diego was playing very aggressive. I'm playing at very high level, so take that first set was very, very important for me.
American Mardy Fish brought his career to an end with a stirring 5-set contest against 18-seed Feliciano Lopez at the US Open. Fish, who struggled with fatigue and cramp, lost 2-6, 6-3, 1-6, 7-5, 6-3 to Feliciano Lopez.
Set and just got worse and worse and worse. And
Fish, whose ranking slipped to 581, has played just 4 matches this year, his first since 2013 after suffering with a severe anxiety disorder. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, let's take a look now at some other sports news in our sports beat. Indian middle order batsman Chiteshwar Pujara has entered the top 20 of the Test batsman list, while pacer Ishant Sharma entered the top 20 of the bowlers list in the ICC rankings. Ishant moved up 3 places to 18th, while Pujara occupied the 20th spot following their strong performances in the recently concluded India-Sri Lanka Test series. India's Test captain Virat Kohli dropped a place to 11th. Boxer Satish Kumar entered the semi-finals to book himself a medal and a World Championship berth at the Asian Championship. Satish outpunched Tajikistan's Suyuvush Zukharov as he was awarded a win via technical knockout after his opponent received 2 warnings for excessive bending, besides showing an inability to deal with the ferocity of the Indians' beating. He will be up against second seed Wang Xiaobao of China in the semi-final. India's Somdev Devvarman qualified for the quarterfinals of the Challenger tennis tournament in Bangkok after his opponent, Australia's Andrew Whittington, retired at the score of 7-5, 4-2. Somdev will now face T Chen of Chinese Taipei in the quarterfinals. He had defeated T Chen in the Davis Cup encounter last year. 5-time world champion Vishwanathan Anand drew his match against world champion Magnus Carlsen to finish 9th in the Sinkfield Cup. Anand finished with 7 draws and 2 losses in the tournament. Levon Aronian of Armenia won the tournament by winning 3 and drawing 6 games in the event. Durban will host the 2022 Commonwealth Games, becoming the first African city to do so. The South African city was selected as the host at the Federation's General Assembly in New Zealand on Wednesday. Games would be held from July 18th to 30th, opening on the birthday of the late South African President Nelson Mandela. And before we wrap up this bulletin, we leave you with the images of the refurbished Palace on Wheels that was back on track on Wednesday. That's all from me. Enjoy these visuals. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.